fucking joke.
Heartfelt.
No, how could you say that?
I'm a dumbass.
That means you're gay.
No, God, please, no!
A man and a woman.
I'm kind of retarded. You are fake news.
Niggas.
I'm upset.
Be offended.
Do you love black people?
You ain't black.
I don't care.
Shawn Cav.
I have nipples, Greg. Could you milk me?
How about new?
Hot, hot, hot like a tamale!
Try to relax your anus.
Bro, what are you talking about, man?
What is it, your period?
Oh, rim shot.
Five, four, three, two, one.
What's up, all you crazy capitalists, you witty whiskey enthusiasts? Welcome to the Whiskey Capitalist Podcast. I'm Ian.
And I'm Shawn.
And, before we get into everything, I just want to let everyone know, if you're watching on YouTube, thank you for coming back. We were gone for a week from there. We were over on Rumble. So we weren't gone. The YouTube land didn't like us for a week.
Yeah, we just weren't here.
Yeah, exactly. We were streaming. So if you missed a couple of streams, go over on Rumble. You can check that out. Not right now, but later. But if you want to hear the full show, we are going to be doing the full show over on Rumble. So right now we're on Rumble too. We're just going to do the first hour here on YouTube, and then we're going to switch over to just Rumble. We're going to talk about so here on YouTube, we're going to talk about the Crowder, kind of go over a little bit more of the Crowder stuff, especially since you were in an awkward situation and you couldn't really
did the best I could.
You did the best that you
did
could.
The best I could with the time frame. I did say something to the girl behind me afterwards, because I saw her going back and forth behind me as I'm talking to you about things, and then afterwards hey, sorry if I was too loud for you, because I heard she was on a couple of calls too. And she's like, oh no, it's fine. I expect people to be on calls back here. I'm like, all right, that's cool. So then we shot the shit for a minute or whatever like that. But I don't think she really was listening to anything I was saying, because I felt weird whenever I started mentioning like names that people would definitely recognize, like Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens. Like, oh, they must know what I'm going to be talking about.
Yeah, and I will say that I tried my hardest not to be an asshole. Like, usually when someone says they're in a position where they can't speak, or like that, like when Jen calls me and she puts me on the car audio, or like I'm on speakerphone and she says, hey, I'm there. I usually try to make it awkward for that person.
Well, the thing is, like, I had you just in my earbud, so like nobody else can hear you. It's just me. So whatever I'm saying, I have to just be okay with what I'm saying out, like in front of everybody else. Besides
I was
that,
just
it doesn't
trying
matter.
not to ask questions that would lead you into having an awkward answer.
Oh well, I don't have to respond as well. Like you feel like they're like I have to like do something. Like no, I don't.
Wait, hold on. Do I have my light set up right? Okay, cool. I don't know. I need to give myself color, so I need those warm lights. But anyways, guys, sorry. So yeah, so the first half here on YouTube, we're gonna be talking about the Crowder stuff, kind of go into that a little bit more, and then we're going when we switch over to Rumble, we're gonna start talking about the Tyre Nichols situation and all that, because if we decide to show videos, if we decide to do any of that, like it'll
get spicier for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to take chances on YouTube anymore, and I'd like to have our channel and
well, this is how we stay on the platform and not like cause that much of a ruckus to where like we're gonna get strikes and then get like a week suspension or whatever the next one is, like a month, and then like demonetized and all that type of shit. It's like,
yeah,
all right, you know what?
So
we got our strike for the week off. It's like, all right, yeah, you want to play it like that? Well, then we don't need to fucking just put all our eggs in this basket.
Yes. Now, with that, make sure you wherever you're watching, make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, and comment down below. On Rumble, I know it just changed over to the thumbs up and it's not the plus anymore. So go ahead, hit that right now. While I'm talking, just hit that like.
Yeah, and the Earth is in retrograde today, so yeah, it's 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Pacific.
To everyone who decided to say that after Shawn and movies, decided to group chat that. Fuck y'all. I know I messed up and I changed it.
I know. I just thought it was hilarious.
I got a lot going on right now. Okay, guys, I'm making things. It's just too much. All right. So yeah. So Trevor, yes. So make sure you like, share, subscribe, follow, comment down below, do all the good shit. Go to solo.to/the whiskey capitalist for all of our links and ways to stay up to date with us. Head over to the bit.ly the whiskey capitalist. Let me try that one more time. Head over to bit.ly/the whiskey capitalist merch. I was trying to do a Tim Pool talk.
Head to the bit.ly.
Yeah, I was trying to like go quick with it, but it didn't work. So go over to bit.ly/the whiskey capitalist merch. Check out our merch store and buy some shit. We're gonna be changing up that merch store here soon in the next like month or so. So stay tuned for the new link and all of that. But with that,
new stuff's going to be coming out too, so make sure you buy
yeah,
buy all our old stuff.
Once we get that new merch store up, that's when I'm gonna push out the new designs and all that stuff too. I just kind of want one and done, I say. But all right, with that, did you have anything else before the intro?
Yeah, retrograde follies.
Dude, all of you guys,
All
right, the bunghole, okay?
Now we can go to the intro.
Be offended.
Wait, damn it, that's not the one I wanted.
I'm upset. Who else in the Leprechaun say yeah?
Look at that big, juicy booty.
Hot like a tamale.
Be offended.
Do you love black people? Negro.
You know the thing.
Here, next.
Don't be rude. You ain't black.
Shawn Cav.
You're going to have a flame coming out of your butthole.
Heartfelt. A man and a woman.
I feel like that Jesse Peterson clip is going to come up a lot in the second half of the show. We start talking about the Tyre Nichols thing.
Yeah, and this one too.
Yeah,
So-
probably.
Well, I mean, because there's 6 involved in this. So,
Yeah, but
yeah.
5 of them were thugs.
yeah, exactly. You know what? Honestly, okay, before you're getting me excited.
I'm sorry. I don't want, you know what I'm doing? I'm teasing the audience. I'm tickling the taint.
Can you stop edging our audience? Jesus. Okay, so if you guys don't know, and you have been living under a rock and you're a conservative, let me say that again. If you're a conservative, you've been living under a rock.
That
Or
works.
anyone, I guess. Because if
Well,
you're a
anyone
liberal,
who's
you
really
probably
paying
are like-
attention to the talking heads and like the drama that surrounds Steven Crowder.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure that if you're, you know, a liberal or a leftist or whatever, you've probably paid attention a little bit about this too, because you're probably
Oh yeah,
you know,
because like somebody's talking about it, whether it's like the Young Turks or it's like somebody out there is talking about Steven Crowder and like the whole drama between him and like the Daily Wire, which we talked about some last Wednesday.
yeah. So yeah, the whole drama, basically, to sum it up, Crowder left the Blaze. He was starting, it was basically coming out that he was going to be leaving the Blaze in December, because that's when his contract was up. So in like October, I believe, mid-October, he started kind of, shopping around for new platforms and trying to figure it out. He had a bunch of different contracts from a bunch of different places sent to him, or term sheets, as they want to semantically fucking talk about it. And one of the term sheets he got was from Daily Wire, and he, it was for $50 million for over 4 years. So basically $12.5 million a year. And there were a lot of restrictions and, punishments. And if you add up all the punishments, it's actually 110% of his fee. So that doesn't make sense. So he would owe them money to do his own. Anyways. So that came up. And then December, when he left the Blaze, it was kind of this limbo situation. And then he put out a video maybe a week and a half ago, talking of his first video, basically saying, hey, we need to stop this. Like, he was calling out BigCon, basically. So the big conservative media.
BigCon. That's
stop
his
BigCon
website now.
Yeah, stopbigcon.com. If you want to, and you support Crowder, go there and go put your email in, and it'll kind of let you know what's going on with him. It's no newsletter. He doesn't send you any emails. It's just kind of like a, hey, when it comes up, we'll send you an email when it starts up. So anyway, so he kind of launched that because of the situation that he went through with the Daily Wire and other conservative media, conglomerate, whatever you want to call it. And he didn't say that it was a Daily Wire. He didn't release the monetary value. He didn't release any. He basically just kind of went over a good couple of portions that were very unnerving, to be quite honest. And so a lot of people were like, oh, is it the Blaze, or oh, is it Daily Wire? Is it Fox? Is it, who is this? And so Jeremy Boring, the CEO of Daily Wire, came out the next day with a 52-minute video. Crowder's video is only 25 minutes. He came out the next day with a 52-minute video, which was very well produced, by the way, which I was kind of put off by that. I was like, really? You just put all this money into, you're not gonna
I wasn't put off by the production value. I think like the Daily Wire stands by like, their content and whatnot. So like they wouldn't want to put out something that was filmed with like a cell phone. They're gonna put out something that's quality, like, so. Yeah, and whether it's a 52-minute long video explaining their contract and whatnot and like how they view it, then so be it. That's how they wanted to approach it.
Well, yeah, I'm not knocking that they wanted to dissect the whole thing. I completely get that, and I like that. I like transparency. I like, people being accountable for their, whatever they're doing, and all that. I get that. It seemed, because it was like the whole accusations or allegations was that it was like a fake. There was like a believability about a lot of the things they were doing, and it just seemed to add to that kind of like, I don't know, fakeness. Again, it could just be me. I'm probably just retarded, whatever. Oh, we're still on YouTube. I'm probably just remedial. But no. So Jeremy Boring came out with that, explained the whole contract, and made it very much about the dollar amount, and that he felt scorned by a friend of 10 years, right? So, but the money aspect was the biggest deal. And then Crowder the next day came out with another 15-20 minute video and had a recording of Jeremy Boring from about a week and a half before he started putting out videos. And it basically said on there that Crowder was like, hey, like, this is Crowder was basically like, hey, this isn't about me. Take me off the table. I'm not in this. But are you offering this to other people? Like, because that is where it becomes, this isn't fair to new creators.
Right. And the one thing I found interesting was that there were several accounts stating that recorded phone call was recorded like months prior to, like they had been in communication, like where like they were initially talking about that the contract and whatnot. And I don't know, like the thing is, I think Steven Crowder was doing the right thing by where he was sticking up for the small creators who self-funded. They built a brand, the whole bit, he's sticking up for the amount of work that someone like himself has put in, where he created his channel, he created that essentially conservative movement on YouTube.
Yeah.
And he did all of this to, I don't know, just to kind of get the message out there. What people tend to kind of misconstrue is that all right, so that Daily Wire, I've had some time to think about this, and that Daily Wire contract really doesn't benefit those types of people at all. It's exactly why Steven Crowder, it wasn't going to work for him. It was never in line with what he's already doing, where he's he's producing himself, he's doing everything on his own and whatnot. That Daily Wire contract, and I think we touched on this a little bit on Wednesday, it really benefits the people similar to like a Matt Walsh or a Candace Owens, where these people, they are, conservative voices. They have a following, they have all these things, but they don't produce themselves. They don't have their own crew and their own team of people that they're working behind them necessarily. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of every single one of the shows and what how they work their staffing, but a lot of it is, covered by the Daily Wire, especially the studio sets and all that. That's all Daily Wire, compared to Steven Crowder. This is him. That was his warehouse. That was his setup. He paid to have all that done for when he went to the Blaze. So again, that came out of his own pocket before to set all that stuff up. That's his cameras, that's his equipment, that's his stuff, and that's the big difference here, where, the Daily Wire essentially, they were saying oh, well, you have to pay for this and you have to pay for that. And, and he's like, well, why do I have to do all this? I can do all this on my own type deal, which again, I think these things were things that could have been probably negotiated and talked about, but that was never even gonna happen. It just never was gonna reach that level, because the way Steven Crowder runs his business and his show is completely opposite from how the Daily Wire runs their business. So there was never going to be that middle ground for them.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, I completely understand, because Daily Wire, Ben Shapiro, when he does his show, he says, oh, if you want to hear the rest of the show, go over to Daily Wire Plus and whatever. So I mean, they do kind of do that, but to the amount of holding off spicy words, we still I was talking to something about this, kind of about the situation. I was like, yeah, we're not going to be PG, but we're, on YouTube, we're still going to talk about, be a little spicier and talk about,
Sure. I'm not censoring myself. I'm not censoring myself from what I'm saying necessarily when I'm on YouTube by any means. It's just, I think the topics themselves are less provocative.
Yeah, and there's certain topics that we'll probably not touch on as in depth. So if there's the Koof issues and the poke issues, we'll address them, but be hey, if you want to hear the actual real opinions, unfiltered, jump over to YouTube. Jump over to Rumble, and we'll kind of be able to more freely talk about it. On YouTube, we'll be able to address it and say, hey, this is a situation, but because of YouTube being the ridiculous, authoritarian overlords that they are, then, we got to watch it to a point, so, but yeah, so Crowder does his piss off YouTube, segment, and then goes over to, Mug Club, so he doesn't even just jump over to Rumble. He jumps over to his complete subscription Mug Club site. Kind of, Timcast does that too. They have their
a lot of them do that, and that's that's the model, because it's funneling. That's how well, it's just funneling. It's internet funneling. So the way when you want to get people to go to a checkout, you have to funnel them to that point. So that means having yourself spread across several platforms. All of those platforms lead to one platform, and that platform is kind of where then you might say hey, if you want to support what we're doing here, you subscribe, and then also you go to the shop, and then the shop eventually there's a checkout. So the whole point is to funnel them into line. You're corralling traffic into a checkout.
And it's kind of a Patreon or a Locals or any of this stuff. But a lot of big reason what I've noticed, excuse me, because I watched a bunch of conservative content creators for a while, and like I said, I don't know if you caught it on the last one on Wednesday, whoever's watching, but I've watched Crowder since the 2016 election. So that's when him, his brand of comedy and his style, whatever. And once the adpocalypse, the Vox adpocalypse happened, and that I forgot exactly what his name. Anyways, the little gay guy from Vox, he and there's no problem with that, YouTube, don't worry, just that's what he called himself. So I think his Twitter name was Lispy Queer. I think that's what his Twitter name was. I could be wrong, but anyways, when that happened and there was a whole adpocalypse and they kind of demonetized Crowder originally, and like a bunch of this stuff started happening, that's when he started doing the piss off YouTube segment and jumping over there. And I'm guessing that a lot of people started seeing that, like, okay, cool, we're going to change our business model a little bit. So Crowder has been at the forefront of a lot of this fighting big tech stuff. And it seems that Daily Wire and a lot of these conservative networks are saying that they fight big tech, they do all this stuff, but exactly what Crowder was saying, you can say that all you want, but when you're literally penalizing,
you're holding people accountable when they get banned from these places that don't allow freedom of speech. Essentially,
you're penalizing your creators and taking percentages off of their fee, is what they called it, like their salary, whatever.
20% for YouTube, 20% for Spotify, all those things where it's like that's a big chunk of your money getting taken away if you get demonetized.
When you're penalizing these content creators, basically you're showing them that they can't speak free. Even like a big thing that Crowder said was, don't worry, YouTube, don't worry, we're gonna, you don't have to punish them, we'll punish them for you. Which was a big thing to me, which was like, gee, like, yeah, that makes complete sense. Like,
yeah, because it's not only if they were able to get their own monetization, like let's say they, were able to monetize the channels and keep that money for themselves on top of like, whatever fee they were getting, like if they got, demonetized, that's the money they would be losing necessarily, like that number versus if losing like the salary. So like essentially they're getting punished by like getting demonetized, and like there is like a reasoning behind that as well when you think about it, like from a business aspect, like, oh, I can't put ads on these videos and I can't like make money off of it because it's been demonetized, so therefore like that person shouldn't be making money off of that platform if like I'm promoting it and I'm paying them to create this content. There is like a business mindset of where that makes sense, but I still feel that like, yeah, you are doing like big tech's bidding when it comes down to you're going to punish them essentially twice because the salary and then the demonetization as well. So like that's a huge hit to like income.
Exactly. And so, yes, I agree with you that I understand from a business standpoint, if you don't make money, they don't make money. I get that. But like,
and that's where the Daily Wire, like when you read the contract and you understand what it is, it's there in place for somebody who is like a one-man show. You show up, they take care of you, they set you up with everything you need, crew, production, equipment, the whole bit set, like it's there, it's taken care of, and you make some money off of that. So you got to play ball essentially, like when it comes to like what you can and can't say on YouTube, is of course, but like as long as they allow you to do like some shows where like it's like subscription only type deal, then you could actually like speak semi freely, like the Daily Wire Plus or something. But still, it's not
what was in the contract. The contract said do an hour. The what it said in the contract is do an hour on YouTube and then at least a half an hour to an hour off platform on the on the
just like how he was doing before with Mug Club, right?
But with Mug Club, and then it was on the Blade, whatever. So, but what they're not seeing is the faith from the faith in these creators from the audience, because when that happened with Crowder and he got demonetized, and he got suspended or banned from YouTube for a minute, whatever, and he moved over to Rumble, and he moved over, did all the mug, and had all the Mug Club stuff. Like, I think for a little while he was doing like, we're doing the whole show on Rumble just because we want to bring you guys in. And so when he did that, it was the election stream in 2020. It's when a lot of the stuff was going on. He did that, and literally the servers at Rumble like couldn't handle it. Like, he had to have a conversation with Rumble, like, are you sure your servers are gonna be able to handle it? Because we're gonna have a lot of stuff. He has like the highest the highest rated or the most ratings, the most views on a live stream, I think, on the whole Rumble platform. So like, so it's not like Crowder isn't a big fucking deal when it comes to this, so I don't know. And I think a big thing that Crowder was trying to say is like, so for one, so we're friends, right? So we've been friends for 10 years. So you obviously know what's going on with me and my situation. I've obviously talked about it enough, and you've said, you've talked about it on your shows plenty, but like, so why is that even in the initial thing? Like I've been demonetized for 3 fucking years. Like, how is that? How do you not understand this? And that is a part of your thing. So like, understandably, if that's your like base your base term sheet, whatever, then you just take it out of the one for me, because I'm not going to be monetized. That's not going to happen. YouTube is not going to monetize me. So that shouldn't even be a part of it. So
it was kind of like a shitty way to kind of like start that conversation. It was a shitty way to start the conversation.
You're saying that immediately 25% is taken away from my fee, right? Because I'm demonetized already. So according to your contract, and what they were saying is, it's a term sheet. You can negotiate it down, blah, blah. It's like, okay, but if he signed the fucking term sheet the way it was written out, that's a contract. And you would not have anything against that.
Perfect example of this is kind of like somebody like Mark Cuban, like, because I've seen enough Shark Tank to where like, there's certain times where people will show up and they'll say something that rubs him the wrong way, and he'll just immediately be like, I'm out, I'm not doing it. And that's essentially what happened here, where the Daily Wire presented a contract and they didn't really realize who they were talking to, and he's not on YouTube, we should just get rid of this section, or he's not monetized on YouTube, just get rid of that entire section of the contract. But they presented it to him anyway, so immediately he's just like, fuck this, like this is garbage. And I was like, we can talk about it, we can get rid of that part. It's like, well, why didn't you get rid of it before presenting it to him? He's not one of the young new creators that is upcoming. Again, Daily Wire, totally different beast than dealing with Steven Crowder. They went into this, which is like, we'll just approach him like any other guy. And, like, granted, they're like old friends, quote unquote, old friends. But like he didn't give him like the justification of like for why he didn't give him like a good contract. Even if if they had to stick with the 50 million, let's say that's the only number that the Daily Wire was comfortable with like presenting to him, fine. But at least go through the rest of the fucking details to where it all aligns with where Steven Crowder is and where his values are.
Yeah, that and a big thing that everyone is missing is this isn't $50 million just in Crowder's fucking pocket. Like, it's $50 million to pay that whole production at 25 to 30 workers that he has, for his company that he works. So it's not just his pay that they're affecting. And so basically what you're saying is that everyone gets penalized because of being demonetized. And when you look at that contract, it says 25% deduction from being demonetized, another 25% for any strike, and then 20% for a ban off YouTube, 20% for a ban off of Apple, I believe, and then 10% and 10% each for Apple and Spotify. Apple and Spotify. So that's 110%.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
So he would owe for it, and it makes absolutely zero sense. And I think
that's why I always found it funny with people like someone like Gavin McInnes, where he would end up like just owing everybody money.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, so because we've never seen anyone just be banned from every fucking platform at one time in a concerted effort, right?
It seems to happen more and more than you think.
like being banned from banks and then they own his content that they produce, which actually they wouldn't produce because he would be producing it. So that is odd.
Well,
and
the only thing that they would own would be like any like documentaries that they might fund. So if they gave him money, yeah, well, that was one of the things that was in the contract. If they funded it.
Every show that happened during that contract, no matter if it was a daily show, no matter if it was a Change My Mind or a stand-up special or a documentary, anything that was done during, so everything before they licensed and they would be able to put on their thing and they would make the money from it for those 4 to 6 years, whatever, with the option. But anything that was recorded during that time of him being in the contract, he would not be able to take that to the next place he was going. So that they owned that.
And yeah, I know that it's like in perpetuity, they own like the content that is created and this and that. Yeah, no, I understand that. But like the only thing that they would pay for, I think it was like the documentaries and stuff like that, like that type of stuff. Like, What is a Woman? Like another one of those.
I understand that, but even in that, do you think they would be the ones fucking producing that? No. If they had a good enough relationship with Crowder, his team would probably produce those things because they produce the fucking Change My Minds. They produce any of the little things that he does. So like, it's like there's so many weird things in that contract where it's like, but you're not producing it. You're just putting it on your website. So like, how is that ownership? It's basically a shitty like record contract. Like it's like literally the same. And so Crowder's like, yeah, no, I'm not going to do this. And then, so because they came out and outed themselves daily, like, again, he didn't name names. He said it's multiple different,
Yeah, but everyone kind of knew to look that direction. Like,
of course, because they're one of the biggest ones, but it could have been Fox, which Fox definitely would have contracts like that. They're a huge conglomerate. So
sure, but like, they already have like a Gutfeld, or Gutfeld or whatever. Like I don't know if like they would really bring on like Crowder for that,
True, but at the same time, you see the popularity and the good momentum coming from that type of comedy. And Crowder is a morning dude, like he does his morning show. So like they could, what I'm saying is just thinking of it like, so Gutfeld would be like the late night show of comedy and all that.
Morning show,
like the morning comedy. So like I can see how they might be like, oh, this might be a good idea. And he probably got a contract for them too that looked exactly like that. So so yes, obviously Daily Wire would be one of the top ones. So like that, it's going to be assumed that might be the one, but at the same time, he didn't out them. He didn't say a money because it wasn't about money for him. It was about the principle. And which I understand, like, I completely understand. Like, if there's something going on that I don't agree with, or that that something isn't figured, whatever, I will on principle want to have that figured out before money comes into the, what I mean? Like,
of course. Yeah. Like whenever every time I've ever had to buy a vehicle or something like that, and you're sitting there and you're working out the contract and the payments and stuff like that, like, for like the purchase, I'll sit there to the point where I am like annoying to the salesperson. Like I'm just like driving them insane because like, it's like, why don't you get this? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'm half remedial. I'm half remedial. That's it. But like, I don't know. I just kind of like, I'll sit there until like I get whatever's going on, and like, or I get like a better deal. Sometimes that even happens to you. You sit there and you annoy the fuck out of these people to the point where like, fine, what will get you to sign today? Oh, well, the number I've been saying for the past half hour sounds good. Oh, okay, fine.
Yeah. So it just becomes a point of like, I understand where Crowder was coming from. And then because he got outed by or Daily Wire outed themselves with that whole situation, that whole video came out. Then he's like, all right, dude, like, I'm going to release this. And I can understand where people are saying that the recording the phone call with a friend would be, a little shitty. I get that. I can understand that to a point, but when Crowder was on Timcast, because Candace Owens was on Timcast, Crowder couldn't defend himself. Then Crowder was on Timcast after that, and he explained the whole situation. And he said, so after after he basically said, no, we're good. And they were talking about social media stuff and owning the social media, and doing all that. And he's like, well, I got a social media guy, Gary, and named him and said, oh yeah, no, like he's amazing. He's great.
He tried to steal him. Yeah.
2 days later, they sent him an email saying, hey, we'd love for you to work for the Daily Wire. And Crowder's like, okay, but we're friends. So you give me a shitty contract. Like, first off, even though we're friends, you lowball the fuck out of me. Like literally less than half of what I'm worth over the year just by subscriptions alone. That's not merch. That's not fucking ad sales. That's nothing. That's literally just off subscriptions. You undercut me by half, over half. So with that, and then so we're supposed to be friends, but that's the deal you give me, and then you try and poach my people like that. This isn't a friend thing anymore. This is an adversarial situation. Like, that's the way he read it, and to be completely honest, that's the way I read it too. So he, like, I understand him being like, okay, this isn't a friend situation. Like, I'm going to record for my own legal backing, like to cover my own ass just in case you say some shit. And then he played the video and he said some shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. There's a comment over here.
Movies.
I get the argument that Crowder was who started this, but there wouldn't be the Crowder versus Daily Wire debacle if there is. I think you worded that funny. Yeah. There is if Jeremy Boring hadn't outed themselves. Yeah, no, completely. Like, he would. I don't think Crowder would have made a second video and like continued this, because he literally was like, you know who you are. Do better. Like, don't make me have to provide receipts, dude.
Yeah, and like the whole recording like a friend type thing. It's like I would be interested to hear like where the rest of the conversation went, but like he got the part that he needed out of it. It's kind of like one of those like Project Veritas type things. It's like you got the beef out of like the video, essentially the whole altercation. For example, even like that last one with Pfizer and stuff like that. Jesus. Do we need to see all like like the whole like hour-long experience of trying to deal with that lunatic? No,
I want to see it.
but we don't need to really grasp everything that was going on. So you hear the parts that you need to hear, just like any other news report.
Yeah, it would be cool if, for transparency, Project Veritas obviously is going to put out their main video, and then it would be cool if they had an offshoot channel or something where they put out the raw footage, like just so you can see anything for transparency, because I think transparency is the best thing for any situation. You learn everything that's going on. Me personally.
Yeah, well, especially for someone trying to cover their own ass, if you provide the entire situation and you're in the right, then full transparency keeps you free and clear, and that's the type of thing where it's like with someone like James O'Keefe, where he gets himself in these like hairy situations where he's like confronting people, it's important to show that, like, listen, this is the entire thing, so yeah, it would be like an option for like journalists to be able to go and see that, especially those who like doubt Project Veritas's like legitimacy when it comes to like journalism. It's like, oh, you doubt it? Okay, so here's the entire like altercation that happened, and show me where anybody, like any of the crew was wrong, Yeah, and like exactly. the one thing I tend to like always think back to, like with this last one with Pfizer, where it started to actually get physical, was like I watched it just recently, and the guy, like, he's freaking out the whole time. He gets the staff to lock everybody inside there, which Project Veritas is trying to leave at that point. They're like, all right, well, they're calling the cops. Let's just leave. Let's just get out of here.
There's a couple of funny things about that video, I will say.
Yeah, but he like the door gets locked, and then all of a sudden the guy gets some balls and he goes to like rip the tablet out of James's hand. He gets one of them and he tries smashing it on the floor, on the ground. Why would he do that? Maybe to try and like remove evidence, like it wasn't like a copy or some shit, or it wasn't on a server or anything like that. Like, how dumb are you? So he does that. And then like they steal the tablet back from him, and then it just turns into like a whole like a shoving match, and like, all right, we need to get the fuck out of here. The cops are coming. Like, we've now like exchanged blows. Like,
there
it's
are
time
a couple of things about that video that rub me the wrong way. For one, he says, "I was lying."
Yeah.
Okay. We'll keep that there. For two, then he changed it to, "I was lying to impress a date." What the fuck do you think is going to impress a date about you about the poke stuff? Like, what? Like, how is that going to impress a fucking date?
Well, I think so. It's still all part of the same thing, though. He lied to impress a date. So like the point is that he's claiming that he lied, but like,
wait, did you lie now? Or were you lying then? When were you lying?
I think he's trying to claim that the whole thing is bullshit. But the fact is, like, but you do work at Pfizer, right? Okay, yeah. You definitely work at Pfizer. Now I assume. You know what happens when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me type deal. But like I'm saying that, like, I'm assuming that the PV undercover like journalist had to have initiated this conversation a little bit of like, oh, so what do you do? Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so like, like, well, what does that mean? What do you do? Like what's your role in this? So eventually it's kind of like you're poking and you're prodding to try and get him to say the things that he wants to probably say. And so he thought like, hey, I'll spill the beans on this, and this will make me look like I'm a big wig, or I do all this stuff at Pfizer. And whether or not it's true or not, I believe it. The guy lost his freaking mind when James O'Keefe confronted him, and then he tried to claim it's all lies, and trying to destroy the tablets. Dude, if it was all lies, you got nothing to fucking worry about.
And okay, and so not only the lying part, and not only the I'm lying to impress a date, that's just weird. Yeah. Okay, and then also you're saying that they're asking to leave. They're confronting you, and then they're asking to leave, right? But you tell the store owner to lock the doors, which is false imprisonment. Just saying.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's just false imprisonment. It's basic. And then you start recording with your phone the store owner. That was weird to me. And then you fucking say that it's 5 white people, had nothing to do with race,
right?
And then you try and fight them. And then after they leave, you follow a car that you think is Project Veritas, which it's not.
Yeah, that made him look like a freaking lunatic.
Yeah. There was also another part at the very end of the video when the cop was talking to them, saying if James O'Keefe was here, then we would arrest him. He doesn't need to be there to arrest him. You could have arrested him and called James O'Keefe and been like, hey, this is a situation. We got this guy. Do you want to press charges?
Mm-hmm.
There's no law that says that the accusing victim or the accusing party has to be there when you arrest them. So you're saying that when there's a cop that is pulling someone over because there was a call saying that, someone got assaulted and they left and they stole your car, you're saying that the accusing party has to be in the cop car? Wait, like what?
Yeah, it was a dumb thing for sure. But like, I don't know. I just when I saw it, the guy was losing his mind. He was a raging lunatic, and just the entire thing showed that, like, all right, well, he was definitely lying now about lying then. Like, he was absolutely telling the truth in the video. He's just like, he's doing anything he can to get out of it. That's all it was. He's like, oh no, you're the ones that messed up, or like he said, like, you effed up, James.
So wrong. This is so wrong.
But then, like, all James had to do is keep on, and he did it. He just kept on poking the bear, kept on calling him out. You said this. Would you like to comment on that? Well, you said this. Would you like to comment on that? To the point where the guy got physical and he started shoving James, ripped the iPad out, tried to break someone else's private property, or is their property? I don't know if it's necessarily private property, but.
Well, no, I mean, it's ownership. I mean, it's ownership for that company, and they're a private company. So yeah, it's not like Project Veritas is a public company. So I mean, yeah, it is fucking private property. But like, sorry, but like, I mean, I do kind of feel bad for the store owner, because she was originally gonna, just like go, like whatever, and then she locked the thing because I'm sure she felt this is a gay guy. This is a black guy, and he's pressuring me to do this. So I don't want to have any media frenzy at our store. I don't want to have riots at our store. I'm just
the right thing to do would have just been like, tell them all, get the out of my store. Get out. All of you.
Yes.
All of you leave right now. Like, I don't care what the fuck you do out there, but get off get off my sidewalk and get the hell out of my store.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's like it's crazy to me. But
Yeah,
I mean,
that's all they had to do. But like that would take some balls to kick out the black gay.
True, but just because of our society and all this stuff going on, because evidently 5 black cops that kill black guy are white supremacists. We'll get into that later.
Totally acceptable, apparently. Except for the fact, like, do you know why they call it white supremacy? Do you know like the point of like the narrative why they say it's white supremacy?
Because it's a systemic problem.
No. So
do you want to say this? Do you want to say this? Because it seems like it might get spicy.
No, I can say this part.
Okay,
This is fine. No, like
I don't mean to be YouTube and censor you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, guys, you get a little teaser. But the main argument from what I've heard is the fact that it is white supremacy in this scenario because of the fact that the 5 black police officers are being charged with murder because they are people of color. And if they were white, they wouldn't have been charged as severely.
It's because they committed a god-awful crime.
Yes. Now, again, like you can't appease these types of people though, because it's like, all right, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If it was white cops and they were charged with murder, like, or they weren't charged with murder, like immediately or something like that, they would cry white supremacy. Then like, if they weren't even charged with murder right away, they're like, oh my God, like either way, it's not enough. It's never enough.
Yeah, if they were just dismissed and without pay or whatever, they weren't charged, then that would be an issue.
Yeah, but like the thing is, like the fact that it's going this far about race is just so ridiculous, and I feel like we're at the point now where if we're gonna go into this topic, we should probably switch over to Rumble.
Yeah, let's wait. So there's a little tease. So that's what's going to be on Rumble.
We got to get into that, and like that's for sure. We got to touch on all of that stuff.
Oh, yeah. And so before we do that, there is a. Did you want to maybe kind of watch a little bit of what happened on Timcast? Because did you watch?
Oh yeah, I watched it. Yeah, you can show a little bit if you want.
Yeah, let's see.
Get back to the Crowder thing.
Crowder stuff. So I haven't done timestamps, so it might jump around a little bit. So bear with us a little. But here, let's see. Okay,
I said jump.
Them, right, that were out there. There was like Collab Studios. Was that the one that was called? I don't know.
Can you hear it?
Right. Yep.
Okay.
Contextual understanding forward as the corporate media system is dying.
It really comes down to what's right. It really comes down to what the truth is. And this is something that's been a long time coming. Gerald actually came on as CEO because we're being batted around so long. This is
real quick. Congrats to Gerald. He is awesome. He got the CEO spot. So that's great. So yay. Okay. Just needed to say that real quick.
Years and years in the making. I get the point with corporate media. The issue that I have with many in the conservative side of this sphere is the fundamental misleading and dishonesty. That's what I have a problem with. And you see that here as this story took place. Kind of it started right where we released this video. We didn't, and it was just by design, didn't name names because there could be a litany of contracts that are similar to this. A lot of them are often verbal offers.
We mentioned it could have been Fox News for all anyone knew. And they're the corporate monolith.
There's about 4 or 5. I would say we have 4 or 5 offers, and then there are other investors who come into the space who just want to dump in a whole bunch of money. Daily Wire here outed themselves, and I understand that people are saying, well, people knew who it was. Well, that's because some of the people who were under those contracts said, yeah, I recognize those contracts. And Candace said on this show, I recognize the terms from my contract. Here's the thing. I said, this is wrong. Penalizing conservatives, and I believe this to my absolute core, penalizing conservatives on behalf of big tech while taking money from people who are paying you, investing in you to fight big tech. That is what they're investing in. That is what Mug Club is investing in. That's what subscribers are investing in. While simultaneously penalizing conservatives is fundamentally wrong. I had that conversation, said, look, just please give me your word. You're not going to be doing this with other people who, as you well know, when you start in this industry, don't know better. Immediately after that, right, the conversation was, Crowder is making a big deal as a dick about money, right? Basketball money. $50 million a year was the implication, which is not true. People aren't saying that now. That's not what people have a problem with. What people have a problem with, I understand, is, the idea of a phone call. And now the narrative has shifted to betrayal of a friend. That's what people want to say. I say last straw. I say this is something that I've watched, experienced for years, tried to give every possible out to do the right thing, and have tried to do the right thing in the way that we run our own business. Saw the gaslighting, the bully tactics that take place behind the scenes of other creators, and knew it wouldn't be myself. So now the narrative shifts to how could you record a phone call, betray a friend? Well, hold on a second. It was just about money. It was just, this is just business. And now
Very
it's
easy narrative.
Hey, we're really good friends. Well, which is it? I mean, you kind of have to pick a lane, right? Are we good friends? Or are you sending out a boilerplate contract that you demand of everybody, according to what they say, that have 110% penalties on behalf of big tech? And the issue with that is that it's dishonest. It's a tactic of the left. It's a tactic, the same kind of tactic that you see from the left, the gaslighting, where let me ask you this. If someone came out,
real quick.
Yeah.
I just want to clarify. You said 110% penalty?
Yeah, you can see the contract right there. If you add them all.
So
it's right there.
There's boycott penalty
or
what? Yeah. That's a fair point.
Riot money, the whole bit.
The issue, I made it clear it wasn't about me. It's about other people. It's about this being the fundamental practice. And by the way, it's not just Daily Wire, to be clear. This happens in this incestuous sphere across the board.
It got blurry. I was like, is that
what would you do? This is my question.
Real quick, let me ask. My concern is, if people aren't familiar with the total context, you leave the blaze, or in the process of you're fielding offers. You receive a contract,
a term sheet, not a contract.
Yes.
Which people are semantically
a predecessor to a contract, but
which is basically the terms they're offering for a contract.
Right.
I'm sorry, you could see Tim's frustration with him in his face, and I'm like,
dude, shut up. We got it. It's a term sheet. It's like the predecessor to the contract.
And you're a dingleberry, so shut the fuck up. Go do some shrooms, bro.
Basically said, you will be penalized 25% if you get a strike.
No, if you're demonetized.
Then
another 20% if there's a strike.
This is what we were
another 20%. I don't remember the numbers for Facebook, for Spotify, but there's also another penalty if your sponsors get boycotted. There's also another penalty if you do 10%. If you deny 10% of the sponsors, which is probably like you, we probably accept 1 out of 5 sponsors. But let me just kind of go through this timeline really quickly.
For people who are trying to understand what's going on, it's basically the contract you received specifically outlined
term sheet.
Yeah, the term sheet you received.
I don't know if it matters.
Shut up, dude.
YouTube, you don't put something in a term sheet that you don't want in a contract.
Right. YouTube, Apple, Spotify, and Facebook.
Yeah.
Specifically,
I do like how Crowder was like as nice as he could be, but just like, dude, shut the fuck up.
It's like, we got it, dude. It's this, like, it's all part of the same deal.
Yeah, it's easier to say contract than it is term sheet. That's just the way it works. That's just how English is. You know what I mean?
The term sheet.
Exactly. It's like, dude, shut up. Ian bugs me sometimes, and it's kind of annoying because he gives Ian's a bad name everywhere sometimes. So like personally, like sometimes I'm just like, dude, stop talking. You're making us look bad.
If these big tech companies are upset with you, we dock your pay.
Yes.
That's an important distinction.
Hold on. And not even dock his pay. I want to be very clear here. This is a production house. This is our budget that gets
what
docked.
Saying too,
Steven is not just taking, this is not basketball where you pay Kyrie Irving to go out.
Public hatchet people. I'm not going to be doing the
There we go. Here it is.
Let me ask you this. If someone publicly was going, and by the way, I'm not going to be doing the personal stuff. I'm not going to be coming in here calling anybody a bitch, right? Sending out hatchet people. I understand why Candace was mad. Honestly, I understand why she was mad. I'd probably be mad too. So I don't think it gives you an excuse to go and talk the way like every girl does who gets their husband into a fight at a bar, but I understand why she was upset.
Dude, that right there, I was like,
yeah, there's gonna be some wig snatching going on. Your man didn't say this about my man.
Yeah, exactly. What is it?
How dare you?
But okay. So obviously there's a 2 hours and 10 minutes, as you can see right there, of a lot of video. But if again, like I said on Wednesday, all of this context, all of this stuff can be found on YouTube, can be found on Rumble and all that. I got to get in the habit of promoting Rumble more than YouTube.
Yeah, we're really gonna start pushing Rumble a lot more now.
Yeah. Even just for other content that's on whatever. Just go watch it on Rumble. Say everyone together. Let's just say for YouTube. All right. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to say it because then I won't pick it up in the in the caption. So won't
it's listening.
Yeah, everyone's listening. But no. So if you want all the context, it is a lot to dive into. I will completely admit, but if you want to know everything going on with this, go watch Crowder's first video. I think it's called "This Needs to Stop," or it's time to stop, something along those lines. And then also
the boring
go watch
video.
What?
The boring video.
Yeah. Well, his name is very apt.
It's so unfortunate.
It's unfortunate, but it's not, because he is kind of boring. I mean, and what sucks, man, is because before all this stuff went down, I like Daily Wire. I like Ben Shapiro, for the most part. Some of his takes are dumb, but again, you can disagree with someone and still like them. I like Shapiro. I like Michael Knowles. I like Matt Walsh. I really can't think.
I think out of the entire Daily Wire crew, Matt Walsh is the one that I probably agree with the most.
Yeah, and I like Clavin. He's great. His movie knowledge and his production knowledge and stuff like that, and everything that kind of works out in the Hollywood stuff is really cool and really interesting to listen to. I love Jordan Peterson. So I like the Daily Wire, and when they do their I think it's called Daily Wire Backstage or whatever, where it's a live kind of roundtable meeting and they all kind of sit there, talk, smoke cigars, whatever. I like what Jeremy Boring has had to say. And he was on Timcast, a few months ago, and I liked that episode. It was great. I don't not like him fully, but after this situation, you gotta react to the situations as they come,
Right.
And just because you like someone doesn't mean that they're not going to make a bad decision. Now, if he came out and he was like, "Hey, we're sorry, blah, blah," cool. I lost some respect for you, but I'll gain a little bit back if you're accountable for things. That's a big thing with me, is accountability. Because we're all humans, we all make mistakes. We all, we're all not all knowing and perfect, So if you make a mistake, be accountable, say you're sorry. It goes a long way to remedying the situation and making a relationship better later. You know what I mean? So no matter who it is. So,
right.
So if Crowder was wrong in this situation and he came out and apologized, I think he's done that a couple of times. There's been things he's gotten wrong or whatever, but
he's made himself accountable for anything that he's reported where maybe he got a story wrong or anything like that, or he admonished himself for saying something that was a little weird or something.
They even have a little thing that says admonished. So yeah, exactly. So, and they'll apologize, whatever. So I have respect for people that will do that. You know what I mean? So, so I think that's kind of a big deal. But anyways, if you want to go through, watch his original video, watch then the Jeremy Boring response, watch the second video where he plays the phone call. Do you want to play a little bit of the phone call?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that might be good, because I think I actually have timestamps for that. So that might, let me see the second video. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, because that one, it's right in the very beginning, I think, was what the phone call is.
Well, yeah. So the very beginning is just him doing his little, let me see,
talk boy.
And what's really annoying to me is that a lot of the media and a lot of everything that's going on, I'll wait to bring that up. So a lot of the media and everything that's being brought up with all that is they're only playing that. So they're not even playing what Steven Crowder is saying in response. They're only playing what he plays on the fucking Talk Boy, which is 30 seconds. So it's a great trick of media to do where they cut things out and they crop it down, just like we see with any
of course
anything like that. That's what they do, and then they mold their narrative around it. So they're not even giving Crowder the chance to speak in his own words. They're just saying, "Oh, this is it." So just had to say that. Sorry, bugs me a little bit. I'm not bothered at all by that. Okay, so let me see. Let me bring up my timestamps. Okay, so we'll play the first timestamp real quick, just this first 30 seconds. So this is what he says. Makes me laugh.
They don't get deals that
they can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand. They can be wage slaves for a little bit. They can be wage slaves for a little bit.
God bless the Talk Boy. Those things are worth like $5,000 now. It's an expensive gag.
Okay, and also, he didn't play it off the fucking Talk Boy. That was a joke. He obviously played it from his producers. There are so many people did he really? Is that his recording device? He has this big production. No, you dingleberry. God. So, like
a joke. It's a joke.
Exactly. It was used for effect. Remedial. All right, so here we go.
Fucking joke.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Let's say it's a kid who comes in with 500,000 YouTube subscribers or something like that, 100,000. Let's say it's some other kid you're paying 6 figures to come in and do it. There's not the penalty of the demonetization or if they're removed from iTunes, Apple, YouTube.
Yeah, sure there would be.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's something else.
Same response that I had. Like, really, dude? Okay, so we got that, and then let's go to 306. Yeah, cool. All right.
What I'm talking about is you're describing a model for everyone, not just let's get rid of me here. Everyone, if there's a penalty for being demonetized on YouTube, because your business model requires that be a huge component of it, you need to change your business model or this movement cannot work, Jeremy. I can't imagine my show trying to come up and be beholden to YouTube advertiser guidelines, let alone, I mean, honestly, being beholden from a conservative entity with hard strikes, right? Being removed, but let alone being advertiser friendly. We know how broad those guidelines are. They might as well just read, don't say anything offensive, and they change them at the drop of a hat.
Based.
I'm not suggesting that the guidelines aren't terrible. I'm suggesting that if making money off of those platforms is part of how you're justifying the salary you're paying someone, then or the fee I keep saying salary, the fee you're paying someone, then when those go away, everybody loses money. You can't pay the same amount with less revenue.
All right, so just pause it real quick.
Business model.
Now, I know what
so
some of you are thinking. Of course,
again, like it's okay. Like what Boring says makes total sense too. Like
to a point.
No, it does. Again, in a different business model. Again, it's very different from what Steven is doing. Steven does not rely on monetization at all. This business model does rely on that, and also it's like if you wanted to get a higher paying salary, then they want to put those ads, they want to get the monetization money off of those videos that you are creating to try and recoup some money that they've expended on that. That makes sense. But it's just a bad business model for what Steven Crowder is trying to do, where again, it's about not the monetization in appeasing the platform's guidelines for advertisers. It's about just having a strong message and also just having the right to be able to create your own content and say what you want to say. That's the whole movement idea that Steven Crowder is going for here. We don't want to have to appease these guidelines that are so restricting to where they can get rid of you over any little thing, and then they can get rid of you for something that you said 3 weeks ago. It's that type of thing.
That's why I was saying I agree. I agree with what he's saying to a point. I agree that separately from it being Crowder, I can agree to it with a point, but they know that he's demonetized. They know that he doesn't make money from monetization. So if he's not making money from monetization originally, and then they sign him, how the fuck are they going to make money from monetization? That doesn't compute with me how that makes sense to them.
Yeah, no, it was poor judgment on their part on how they approached him in the initial term sheet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly. So okay,
because I said before, when the one episode of Shark Tank I remember watching, where Mark Cuban immediately said I'm out before the guy even said one word, was because they were doing some kind of sports memorabilia type thing.
Yeah.
And instead of having the Mavericks, which is his team on there, that on whatever the item was that fell from the ceiling or whatever, it was a competitor. It was one of the rivals for the Mavericks. I don't fucking know the NBA that well to know
whatever. Yeah,
it was probably the Spurs, but it was wherever these guys were from. They were from that town, so they were "This is our team. Yeah, look at what we made." And he's I'm out. I want nothing to do with you because you offended the investor at that point because he owns a competitor team. I'm wow, dude, are you that soft? Are you that weak? But at the same time, I'm You didn't know your fucking audience. You didn't know. Yeah, exactly. You didn't know your fucking audience, dude. That like you got Mark Cuban, who's gonna billionaire.
But at the same time,
want some of his money.
But at the same time, so Mark Cuban doesn't like basketball. He only likes his basketball team.
Well, because he owns that team. Of course, he's gonna like that team. If you owned, even like, I'm not saying the Mavericks are the shittiest team. I know nothing about basketball. Again, I'm saying if you owned the shittiest team in the NBA, you still own an NBA team.
Yeah. So no. To me, it's like if someone is supporting a different metal band, I'm not going to be mad at them because they're still supporting like metal. You know what I mean?
But
like,
that's not. Yeah, but no, I don't think the two really compare because we're talking about sports versus like a music genre necessarily. Because it's like one's in direct competition where if you do better, you make more money. I guess maybe it kind of relates, but I don't know. I think it's a broad stroke you're painting.
Well, I mean,
here.
obviously they're different situations, but I'm trying to relate it to something. Like if my band was playing on a tour with another band, let's say that we're playing on a fucking big tour, I'm not going to get mad at someone because they support another band on the tour. They're still supporting music and the tour. So like,
yeah, but you'd be a little pissed off that they didn't buy your shirt when they bought the other other band's shirt.
Well, I mean, I can have
$20 here.
I can have some sort of feeling about it, but I'm not going to tell them, "Hey, fuck you," because then that makes them never want to support my band. You know what I mean? Like,
oh no, you don't exactly. You don't say "fuck you," but you're like, "Hey, man, I could have used that money."
Yeah, but I'm not going to be like Cuban and be like, "Oh, you know what? Like, no, like I'm never going to have anything to do with you."
Yeah, like, exactly. You read the room and use your brain. That's the lesson to learn from that altercation.
But
we're over an hour. We got to switch over. We got to go into the Tyre.
All right, let's get through these quick little timestamps and clips. Hey, you went off on Mark Cuban, so that's not.
I'm sorry, that was my bad.
Yeah, exactly. So if you want to stay in an hour, shut your trap. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm just saying I don't want to lose time on Tyre.
Believe me, we'll have enough to talk about that.
Communicate that to the people at Daily Wire.
Here we go.
There can be no next me if the people at the top with the financial resources are doing the bidding. That's being the arm of big tech. What you just said is, well, we have to play ball with big tech if we want to make money. Well, I don't. Why don't you guys follow a model like I have and scale it? That's what I've been doing since 2014. You know that. Has been trying to make sure, which I thought we were all doing, that we can all flip the bird to Silicon Valley. This is saying we need him and you need to play ball.
And by the way, before some of you ask for this, look, there's always personal information on phone calls, and that's as personal as I'll get. Now, here's the thing. Only after that final call, after negotiations had fallen through, pleading on the side of principle and knowing that it was completely met with deaf ears, did I come out like I did? See, here's the thing, Daily, they keep talking about a business. Well, I walked away from the table because I'm talking like it's about a country, about a movement. And this is the thing, the response that I've heard over the years, it's not just now. I've been doing this for a long time. You constantly hear, it's just business.
I thought this was...
It's just business. Well, guess what? It's not to me. Sure, I run a business, but it's not just business. And let me ask you, when have you ever heard someone say it's just business when they're doing the right thing?
Damn.
Ever hear someone give $250,000 to charity and say it's just business? And here's something that I would like to ask.
Yeah, I just thought that was good. And then I think there's this. Yeah, here we go.
Exactly what I'm doing. And so long as these contracts out there include enforcement of big tech, of punishing conservative creators being done to the next generation of creators.
Bench talent, young talent, they don't get deals like this.
So they don't get deals that
they can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand.
That you then own.
Well, I own parts of it. I don't own it. They can, when their contract's up, they can still go out and they'll still be famous. They can keep doing their shows, so go do a show somewhere else. They'll be in a far, far, far better place. You help to make them.
No, not long as this contract. This contract owns it in perpetuity even after the contract. You're paying a lease but getting ownership. That's what this contract is.
On the content that we paid to produce. Yes.
Look, and the thing with me is he's not wrong to a point, but it's the disingenuousness, because if Crowder didn't push back on that point, he would have just let that be what was said.
Like forever, we own your brand. And
exactly.
that means like that we own Louder with Crowder now. So you have to go and create something else.
Yeah, and like I was saying on the on the last one, it's they could have, if relations got worse and it was the 3 years and 10 months in, they could use that last 2 months to just trash Crowder's name, and he couldn't do anything about it until he was out of the contract. So it makes it kind of evil to a point. You know what I mean? Like, to where they could do whatever the fuck they want, and they could sell merch rights on their own merch, and they'll make money off the merch that was made in those 4 years forever. Like, he will never see any money out of that merch. They get all of the merch, everything. So it wasn't a good contract for him to do, and then it's also not a great contract for other people coming up. So I mean, he made great points.
Definitely not for young people coming up, for sure.
Yeah. So there's all of that, but okay, this is our first try with this stopping the YouTube stream halfway through. So
yeah,
it's gonna be funny. I'll say that. I'm trying to hear things. There's an option to end the stream here on StreamYard, but then I think I'm going to try and actually end it on YouTube. So I'm going to try a couple different things. Hopefully it fucking works. If it doesn't, well, we're remedial.
We tried.
Yeah, exactly. So real quick, to everyone that's not going to follow us over to Rumble, the link is down in the description of the YouTube video. Let me just make sure. Let me check on my phone real quick. Make sure that the link is there. Yeah, it's right there. It's under the first, it's like the second little paragraph of that description. Go on there, click over to there to Rumble. Just jump over there now and you won't miss anything. But yeah, exactly. So to everyone that isn't going to jump over, we really appreciate you even hearing us for this first hour and 10 minutes. Cheers to you. I appreciate you. Real quick, just go over to solo.to/the Whiskey Capitalist to check out any other links and ways to stay up to date with us. If you want to go buy some of that merch, go to bit.ly/the Whiskey Capitalist merch. Check out our fanny packs, our shirts, all of our good shit there. If you want to check out Shawn,
that's my stuff. Solo.to/I'm Shawn Cav. You can go over there and check out all my socials.
There we go. Check that out. He has his shows on Fridays. Going to be doing the same type of format. First half on YouTube and everywhere. Second half only on Rumble and Twitter. So that should be fine. I'm trying to just get through this quick for anyone that's not going to jump over to Rumble. Go check out Til Death Podcast. That's my podcast that I have with my wife. It's every other Saturday. Again, same format. Going to be doing the first half on Rumble and everywhere. Second half on Rumble and Twitter. And it's, marriage podcast. We talk about dumb shit and, dick and fart jokes and, stupid marriage stuff. So that should be fun. And check out at Til Death Network over there on Twitter, so you can get all the links and all the updates and everything. Do that. I guess we'll say something about MoviesMerica. At MoviesMerica, go www. Why do I keep saying www? Just go to moviesmerica.com. Check out all of his audio podcasts. Since we're back up on YouTube, we're going to be able to start uploading all the audio to video episodes and all that content here soon. And we're almost caught up, guys. So that should be that should be great. Go check out the 20 videos that we have up there right now, and just get yourself ready for his his thing. And we're gonna be doing live streams for him on Thursdays, and then the spoiler-free
pre-recorded stuff Sundays.
Yeah, pre-recorded stuff Sundays, and then that same movie that he did the spoiler review for on Sunday, he's gonna be doing that on Thursday. So, with that said, let's jump over, guys.
Let's try it.
Let's see what happens. Here we go.
Did it work?
All right, later, guys.